Okay, good afternoon, folks. So I was running a bit late. I was just setting some things on my chart. I'll let you know in a minute. Okay, so we've had this channel down this morning. We had a break, and we seem to be bouncing around this area here. So let's just have a little look. Okay, so I'll have a chat about yesterday in a minute, about what happened yesterday with my trade. So we got 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test here. Not sure yet. But I don't know, it's hard to say whether we go in this range or not, but there's not a great deal of room to get some points at the top. It may push up, but okay, so exponential. How you doing, bud? So hope everyone's well. So yesterday, I had a few problems yesterday. I took I opened a usually I use limit orders, but I opened a market order and was looking to catch a trap down here. And I left it there and was about to sort of cancel it, and it got hit. Now, it never registered here. It kicked the trade out, but it never registered. But what I didn't realise is one of the trade triggered in rhythmic, but it didn't show here. So I ended up in a trade, and it was ticking away down here. First of all, it went for me by a few $100s, and then it went away from me until the account got blown, but I didn't know nothing about it. So I did a little bit of looking around and a little bit of research, and I'm glad I get these problems on evaluations, because obviously you don't want to get them. But what I found out is always have the positions tab open in rhythmic. So if for some reason it triggers in rhythmic but doesn't trigger here, the trade will show there. There'll be a little red cross next to it, and just make sure. So I'm keeping that on a screen above me. So I'm always going to make sure I've got my positions in rhythmic. It's just a problem I've never come across personally, and that's probably because I tend to use limit orders.
Order submitted.
Doesn't seem to happen on limit orders, but obviously canceled. This one was a buy order. It was a sell order actually, and it got hit. So lesson learned there, but I've also decided to put it up here as well. I did a little bit more trading yesterday. I replaced the blown account. I didn't bother contacting Apex for the sake of $30 odd, because, you know, the video was out there that have your positions tab, and I never did, so I count that. It's probably my fault anyway. But I did a little bit more trading yesterday. Some slightly aggressive trading, a little bit more than normal, but I managed to get these two accounts up. But I may try and recreate this and put it down here, so just you know, people can keep an eye on what I'm doing. But I wanted it in larger letters above my head, so I've basically got above my head on a screen, I've got that and that next to each other. So if for some reason something triggers and it doesn't show here, I've got these you know, sort of increased, you know, quite large size above my head, so hopefully it'll be a little bit obvious. But you know, it's great to have multiple accounts, but it can be problematic, and there is a little learning curve. And in all fairness, since I've had Replicanto, I think I've had one problem. That was the second one I had. But I'm kind of glad it happened, because I'd rather it happened on an evaluation than rather on a PA account, because if that had happened on a PA account, it would have, you know, it would have felt a lot worse. So there you go. So Exponential, I've said hello to you. Rodian, how you doing, buddy? So okay, let's see how we get on today. But yeah, I've traded those accounts. I don't know if I can I minimize, maximize header? Let me just see if I can get that, so at least you can keep an eye on my balance. Let's just bring that over here. So standard. It's just the accounts, isn't it? I think that. Trader dashboard. That's it. Trader dashboard. So if I just remove some columns, add remove columns. Okay, so if I hide them all and then just add account and balance. Do look like we may be coming down here, but that might be a failed breakout, so you might get caught going short there. As we know, most breakouts fail. We've had this channel down, we've had a break. Whether there's anything bigger there, I'm not sure at the moment, but I think that was it was a second entry short. But we've had a new low, so I think going shorts, it's a bit risky at the moment. And it is a bit congested anyway, so I'd say it's more than likely that will get stopped out as it just triggered by a tick. So let me just get this down here. So balance. Where's the balance? Account balance. Okay. Okay. I'll shove that down there then, so at least people can keep an eye on the account if they want to see how I'm getting on. I wish I could get rid of all this and just have this. There probably is a way of blocking this out with something or other, but let's just put that there like that. There you go. So if you do want to see the account, let's reduce that width a bit. I don't need to see that much of it. There you go. Okay, and if I do that, always on top. Okay. There you go. Okay. Let's see how we get on today. Okay, so yeah, I think hopefully I've sewn up any possible problems. I knew there was an issue sometimes with a sell order. If it didn't get triggered, it triggered a buy order, and that did it. But I seem to get rid of that problem by using limit orders. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I shouldn't get that problem again. Oh, congratulations to Wilson as well, who managed to break that $2,600 on his account. So I think he had something like 14 accounts, I noticed yesterday, that had broken that $26,000. So that's quite a big milestone for him. So I'm really chuffed he's done that, because I have a little chat with Wilson now and again. He's a really nice guy, actually. And you can just, I can see when he takes his trades, you can just sense the stress as he's trying to hit that levels, because I know he's lost 20 accounts before, and that's got to be heartbreaking. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, but he managed to break that $2,600. Yeah, it's a big thing, that is, when you, I think when you first do it. You know, part of you wants to take money. The trouble is, it's okay getting an account of $2,600 and taking money, and you're probably going to on the first few accounts, but at some point you've got to let it stay there and build. You know, if you want consistent money, there's no point in working your ass off to get 20 accounts at $2,600, withdraw $2,000 on each, blow the account, you've got to start again. You've got to build it up to a real $5,000, $7,000, whatever, and take consistent money. But I know he's had his fair share of struggles, just like us all, but he's stuck it out. And he's managed to hold on to his patience. And I noticed yesterday on his trade, took one trade, I think, yesterday, got 3 points on it, which is good, I think, for Wilson, because he tends to take a little bit less sometimes. And I think that's probably down to the stress of it. And I don't blame him, actually. But yeah, congratulations to him. Yeah, he's a nice bloke, Wilson. If ever I've had any issues with, bad days, he's always been supportive of me. So, vice versa, we're not in competition with each other. It's not my business. If you do well, it takes business away from me. It doesn't work that way. It's all an individual thing. So as far as I'm concerned, it's about helping and supporting each other, because it's a tough business, this. Certainly until you get consistent, then I believe it starts to get a little easier. But I will mention, it's all right, I was messing around getting all these little windows right above me, and I didn't realise time was ticking. But Then we have got some news coming up today. We've got FOMC later. We'll be done and dusted by then. Mind you, the last time we had that, market tanked, didn't it? And there was some great moves, but I didn't come back. So I may come back on FOMC days. So we've got some news. The main one that's going to affect us is the ISM manufacturing and the job openings, which are both at 3 o'clock UK time. So 1500 UK time. Let's not get that wrong. So are we going to push out of this? We may do. Brick, how you doing, buddy? Oh, hope you all had a nice break. It was a nice break, mate. I feel really refreshed. I've never taken that long off trading before. I've had a few days off at the most, and even then I'm still watching the charts. But I had a real break, and I absolutely didn't realise how beneficial taking a proper break. It's like anything, really. It stands to reason. It doesn't matter what you do. You've got to take a break sometimes. And I'm going to make it a point of, if I go on holiday this year, which we probably will at some point, maybe July. So I know I lived in, when I was a young and around about 10, I lived in Cyprus for a couple of years. So I want to take my daughter to see where I used to live and where I used to go to school. So we're probably going to do that in July, I would have said so. But I am going to make it a point of having time off, because I can't tell you how much refreshed it's like being stuck in a bad marriage for 3 years. You can, sometimes when you get away for a few days, not that I've ever had one, but it's important to take a break. I didn't realise how important until I actually took the complete break this Christmas. So if you've been like me and you've got your head down and just cracked on, take a break. It really does help. So, as I say, we've got this news coming up in around about just over 15 minutes, and I'm just wondering whether it's going to continue to go sideways. Quite probably. But yeah, I'm really pleased for Wilson. I love hearing about people do well, because I love seeing people, I got a lot of respect for people who can make money at trading, because I know how bloody hard it is. And I've had a few chats with him. He asked me what my opinion is on how much to grow the account to before you take money, which is nice of him. It is nice to see, get other people's opinions. Do you get it to 5,000? Do you get it to 7,000? Do you get it to 2,600 and take a bit? It's a hard decision, really, what to do the right thing, because if something does go wrong, it'd be a shame to lose that money when you could have taken something. So, but I think it's important to build the account. The more you get in there, I think the more you're going to relax a little bit. Which I think is important. If you're on the breadline all the time, you're struggling just to keep your head above water. It's tough. At least if you build a bit of a cushion. The way I see it, I'd like to get up to $7,500, and then whatever I make on top, I'll tend to withdraw monthly. And the beauty of that is, if for some, you can give yourself a $2,500 buffer. If I'm trading 2 contracts and something goes wrong and that account goes down to $5,000, I can take a couple of days off and come back in at 1 contract, and I've still got plenty enough in there, to carry on and to. So it's important to get a certain amount of buffer there, I think. There's no point in having minimum amount all the time, and every time you're trading, you're worried about losing a trade or two. So 1, 2, 3. It looks like a bit of a triple test that. We have got that news coming up, and I do wonder whether it's going to continue to do that. So the last thing you want to do really is be stuck in a trade. Nothing worse than being stuck in a trade and it's going sideways and you can't get out. Once, twice, 3 times. So I'm probably just going to sit tight. watching more of that Billions. If you've never seen it, please watch it. It's brilliantly done. It's hilarious at times. Definitely a good watch, especially if you're a trader as well. You can sort of relate to it. You know, this guy owns a hedge fund, and there's a lot of sort of dodgy dealings in there. But it's good. It's a scream at times. You know, it's really funny. I notice crypto's taking a bit of a dump this morning. I think Bitcoin was floating around about $45,000. $45,000, and it dropped about 4,000. It dropped about 8%. I think there was something like, I don't know, 150,000 Bitcoin sold instantly. But it is starting to recover now, because over the last couple of days we managed to break highs since the last bull run, basically. Since the bottom, but it's still about $2,500 less than it was early this morning. So I did and ah whether to sell my cryptos when it broke that $45,000. But we're in a bit of a bull market at the moment. I don't know enough about it to swing trade it, so I'm just buying and holding and letting it go. Okay, so let's have a look. This does look like look like a triple test. There is sort of a second entry long there. Now I do trade these accounts a little bit more aggressively, evaluations, but I don't want to be stupid about it. There's nothing there anyway, so I do wonder, we are still slowly, with the exception of these, making sort of lower highs. So whether we're going to continue down or not, I'm not sure. We do seem to be making a bit of an uptrend on the NQ, so this chart's looking a bit different. Actually, no, it's not really. Forget I said that.
Order submitted.
I actually like that.
Order filled.
And I'm just going to come down here. I'm not going to get too greedy there. I do trade these a bit aggressively, as I said. I like that. 1, 2, 3. It's a triple test. I'm not going to go for too much. I know we got the news coming up in about 12 minutes. How much have I gone for there? Let's just go for a 1.5, I think. It is a second entry long, 1, 2, 3. It is a triple test. So, and it's a nice bar sat right there as well. We've had a touch, and a touch, so I'd expect that to work. Yeah, I can see these on the positions as well, so I'm glad. So if anything does go wrong, like yesterday, and nothing's showing here, if something's showing here, all I've got to do is just click those and shut them down in the position tabs. So I'm glad I've got that sewn up there. It's just a problem, a less problem to happen. A less problem, does that make sense? Just one thing less to go wrong. Okay, that news is in 10 minutes. I've not been too greedy, so hopefully it is a second entry long, 1, 2, 3, and it is a triple test. Let's see if this is a high or low. Oh, I'm out plenty before any of these highs, so
Order filled.
Okay. Okay, everything's sold, fine, no issues there. Why is it still showing that? Oh, it's just showing profit, okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that was a quick, I think it was a 1.5, wasn't it? 2, yeah, 1.5. I could have gone a little bit more, but I wanted to get out below here. Just, I mean, I expected probably to get hit to the top, but I didn't want to be stuck in too much. It's going sideways anyway, so even if you get in here, I think you'd be in and out quite quick. Second entry long, triple test, 1, 2, 3. It's a nice bullish bar, and it's sat there 3 times, isn't it? So I'd expect that to work. So a quick 1.5. Second entry long plus triple test. Sorry, triple test plus 1.5 points. Excellent. I've got to say, I find trading evaluations so relaxing now. They used to stress the hell out of me. So it just goes to show how your emotions develop and are able to take a little bit more without getting stressed. Now, in ideal worlds, you want to be taking live trades on a PA account with the same sort of same sort of relaxed mind. But it doesn't stress me at all, trading evaluations now. Probably because I know I'm not going to lose a lot, but it just goes to show, doesn't it? I remember going back a year and a half ago, trading evaluations used to stress the hell out of me. I felt like my neck was in a... Doesn't bother me now. I see a trade, take it. I just wish I could trade and pass my PAs as well. Just wish I could trade my PAs as well. Yeah. The thing is, the clear difference is there is at the moment, if something goes wrong, I'm risking a $35 evaluation. You know, if you've got $2,000 in your PA account, is a little bit more risk, isn't there? And I don't think you can get away from the fact. But I think, as with like I say, evaluations used to feel like my neck was in a vice. But I think the more you come on, the more you spend time in this business, at some point it's going to feel like a normal job. And I think there'll always be a little bit of apprehension, possibly. I've heard people say you need to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. So there's probably always going to be a little bit of something there. But I think the more months you go, but when you build your PA accounts, and the more months you go by that you're getting regular money, let's say you're getting, I don't know, $5,000-$10,000 every single month for 6 months in a row, you can't be lucky there. And I think a lot of it is down to, because trading's so hard and there's so many failures, it's very hard to have that belief, can I actually do it? Yeah, or am I just being a bit lucky, And I think when you start to get some consistency, then you start to get that belief. And then I think the stress tends to, you tend to just think, let's just play the game, play the numbers and let the money take care of itself. But I don't think it ever goes away, but I think it gets a lot less stressful and a lot more manageable. Last night I made 2K on an eval, a -4. Yeah. It does feel different, doesn't it? But I think with time, and not just that, if you're earning good money, you're going to start to get quite a healthy bank balance. So that takes away the stress. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I haven't got a lot of money. You know what I mean? I certainly haven't got the money to sort of pick up 20 accounts. With what I earn, we got a little bit of savings, a little bit in shares, but not much. I couldn't afford, like Wilson, to cough up, $2,500 to pay for 20 PA accounts. I couldn't do that really without leaving myself vulnerable. So I haven't got a lot of money. But with time, as you start to build, get consistent and build up a healthy-ish bank account, I don't know, $20,000, $40,000 in your savings, whatever. You can relax a little bit. You can trade. So I think a lot of that evaporates a bit if you've got a nice bank balance. But I've been told this before. There's, as you guys know, I started with currency with a guy called Andrew Lockwood, and he told me you could have one phone call with him every couple of weeks, and he said to me, forget about the money. Just concentrate on the trading. The money will just follow you, I guarantee it. You get good at trading, the money will just come pouring in. It will. Yeah, it does, mate. I would say since I've started trading on everything, the money I've lost myself and the computer equipment, I've spent over £20,000, which is about $25,000. I would say that's probably not far off. Now, I make some back with affiliates, I do. And last year I had $10,000 in payments. So I would say I've made probably 2/3 of that back, I'd say. Something like that, 2/3. But as I showed you in that diagram yesterday, you get to a point where you consider giving up. You're probably at your lowest. You decide something has to change, and then you start to get a bit of success. And then you break even. And a trader told me once, as soon as you break even, that's when you know you've made it as a trader. If you can cough up $25,000 and make it all back, you're playing catch up, aren't you? If you can make it all back, that's when you've succeeded as a trader. And then I think you can think, okay, so I've spent all this time and all this money. Now I've got all the money back, but I'm left with this skill on this journey I've, just been on. And then, like that diagram shows, then you get the belief. I can do this. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a matter of battling away and working that mind. The thing is, if you're I don't know, you start going to the gym and over 3 years you want to start building some muscle. It's obvious with the physical aspect of it, because you can see yourself losing weight, you can see your muscles toning, you can see muscles building. And exactly as you can manipulate the body, you can manipulate the mind, but you can't really visually see that. So it's very hard to figure out where I am. But what I will say to you is, taking that trade there, 2 accounts and 4 contracts on each did not stress me in the slightest. Now, 12, 14 months ago, I'd have been on the edge of my seat there. My heart would have been beating in my mouth. I'd have been sweating. My neck would have felt like it's going to be right. But it doesn't now, because I spent so much time doing it. Those emotions can't possibly have the same effect every time. They will start to go. If I did some skydiving when I was young, first time you throw yourself out of a plane, you almost physically shit yourself. But the more you do it, there's a lot of emotions. If first jump I did was a tandem at 11,000 feet, you can't jump out of a plane at 11,000 feet and not be nervous. You can't. Your heart will be beating. You'll be thinking of every different excuse to get out of it. But if you do it again and again and again, sooner or later, it becomes, nothing major. Just a hobby, as opposed to a probably life-changing event when you first do it. Okay, this news is coming up any second now, so if you're in a trade, I'd get out of it. 10 seconds, so let's see what happens here. Sometimes it does nothing. We're getting a bit of movement, but I don't think it's going to be nothing major. And this looks like a failed breakout anyway, so okay, there's a little bit. So we started here, so we've gone up about, what, 10 points, 9 or 10 points. So break out the bottom, break out the top. Possible trade there, although I wouldn't trade out this close to the news, but it would have worked for a couple of points. But so you could call that positive. In all fairness, as we broke out here, you probably push back in anyway. So it's not done a lot much more than what it may have done anyway, but just maybe a bit quicker. So maybe we are now going to start focusing on moving up. Who knows? But nothing too major. Okay, so there's a lower high there. Trouble is, we're right at the lows here, so you can't say that. We've had a breakout here, breakout that side, so it may trap that short there. I don't know at the moment, but just give it a few minutes to settle down. Okay, there is some tonight, later. Well, tonight UK time, 7 o'clock. We'll be done by then, but I may come back later. I didn't last time. Was it before Christmas? The last time we had one, we had a massive dump and some great opportunities. There you go. But yeah, you're not wrong, Rhodey, and it can. In fact, I was on a bit of a chat on one of the Facebook groups over Christmas, and there was a guy there who'd done he'd done 1,100 evaluations. There was another guy who'd done over 650 evaluations. There was quite a lot. I was quite surprised how many people have done over 500 evaluations. I was quite surprised. I mean, I've done 300 odd. I thought I was a lot, but no. Trouble is, if you trade in multiple ones at the same time, it's, you trade 10 of them and you lose one of them, you've lost 10, so they can soon mount up. But I think every time you blow one, it does something to your mind, and I think you get closer to not doing it, I think. Okay, so a little breakout at the top, bottom, breakout at the top. So let's see what happens now. Keep it in mind it is FOMC day, so just don't know what's going to come out of those minutes later. But last time, I can't remember what happened. What was the dump last time? I can't remember what it was. Oh no, tell a lie, it wasn't, was it? I think the dump was when we broke all-time highs a few times. I think last time we had a big push, I think, didn't we? Yeah, we did, because it was a rate cuts, wasn't it? I think they said there was going to be 3 rate cuts this year, and the market responded beautifully. Yeah, it did. It was about maybe a week and 2 weeks ago, because we pushed up, didn't we, for about 2 or 3 days, then we had some sideways, and then we pushed up again, broke all-time highs about 3 times, and then had that massive dump. So hopefully they'll just sort of maybe just sort of reiterate, the positive outlook for this year with these rate cuts. Quick question, all you guys out there. This here, I've just got this above me head. You've got a smaller version down here. How do you make this small? Any idea? There's such a lot of headroom here. I just don't know why. I can't figure out how to get rid of this headroom. It just doesn't look... It's way out of proportion. It'd be nice to change these names if I could. Instead of saying account balance, just call it balance. But get rid of some of this headroom. It's a pain in the arse. I can change the fonts and all the colours, but I don't know how to get rid of that. So if anybody knows, let us know. Okay, let's see if we're going to get any type of a breakout here. That's a possibility. Or it may be something like that. Who knows? Okay, so touch. Let's see where we finish here. Anybody know how What is? I haven't heard from What for a couple of days. On the last stream, he's usually the first one here. Are you there, What? Might be quiet in the background. Okay, so that news can go now. He's from South Africa, just checking he hasn't got eaten by a lion or something. Okay, channel break, new high. So it's hard to know what we're doing here, whether we're just going to come back in this range, maybe a little bit larger, leading up to this news later, or whether we're going to work up. Yeah, on the NQ it does just look like more of a range, in all fairness. Yeah, it just looks like sideways on there, doesn't it? Okay, let's see how we respond here. Touch, so far so good. Okay, let's forget that. Yeah, it does look like, I mean, obviously depends what happens here, but it does look like we're just sort of going sideways, really. Getting close to this. This is the daily. We've had a lot of buy in there. We had that channel down, as we know, the overshoot there, the trap to the shorts there, push up, sideways, push up, and it does look like some more sideways there. So I think there's a good chance that this is going to hit the bottom, which is going to take us down a little bit more, I think. It's actually not much. It's only 8 points, isn't it? 8 points. 57, 50, yeah, around about 8 points. Make them a bit lower, but so that would probably take us down to here. around about to 50 or possibly lower if it breaks below here. Obviously here and here it has done. So, but I think there's a fair chance it's going to come down here, which might mean we get a break here. So I'll keep an eye on that. So let's see if this is. We get a break. Chad, how you doing, buddy? And there was 2 measured legs up, so we may get another measured big leg down. Yeah. Oh, hello. Let's take it from there, I think. Would that take us around? Where would that take us? Yeah, just... Yeah, so only literally a couple of points below there, which on the daily is barely breaking that line, really, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, that's looking pretty bearish. I think there's a good chance that's going to hit that line, which would, you know, make sense about this coming down to around about this level, actually. Okay, so I'd say there's probably a bigger channel going on there, which I like. So if we can get a break here, a couple of legs up, bounce off this to come down, there might be a trading option there, opportunity rather. Trouble is that touch here, touch there, there may be a break and a new low there. Let's leave it there just for now, because we have had a break and a new low. We touched here perfectly, touched here and touched there, so I mean, some traders may well open her up, but I like to really just assume we've had a break, in which case we could bounce in and then push up. We'll see. NQ's doing the same now, so in fact it's a tighter channel on the NQ. Yeah, it's more or less doing the same thing. There's the NQ there. It's a bit of a tighter channel there, it fits a little better. So leg down would take us to somewhere around about the same area. You could put that there really and there, but let's just put it there for now. That will take us around about there. So what I want is a break and then some more downward stuff if that's what's going to happen. So however you look at this, we've had a break out of it now. So even if you do extend that, which let's extend it just for posterity, we've definitely had a break there. Whatever happens, breaking a new low. So we got a leg and a leg. I mean, it's a bit hard to short that, see, because we're into new territory really here. I mean, it's a leg and a leg. We've had a short-term trend channel, we've had a break, but you just never know there. See, after this news, you don't know whether it's going to bounce off here, come back down, not quite get to the lows, and then start to break and push out. But if you did get into that leg and leg, it is technically a second entry short as well. There's the first entry, there's the second entry. So it is a second entry short. You may have took a risk or something like that. But I mean, another reason to take that, I suppose, is looking at the daily. Now we're really close to this area now. You know, I did think there was a fair chance we'd at least get down to this level and then maybe bounce and this is making sense. It might be another reason to take that. Trouble is, after this news, you just don't know what's going to happen then. I mean, it aired on the side of positive, so we may have had two legs back and then we could have continued up. Who knows, really? But if we'd have bounced off that a few times, we didn't there. We missed the point there. That may have been too early to count. But I wasn't thinking of that anyway at the time. Okay, so we've had a break and a new low. Let's see if we're going to come down any lower. I'd expect that daily to come down and hit that line. In which case, if we can get a couple of legs up here, I probably won't take that, but I'll wait for the lower high to come down some more. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. We've had 4 touches there, all at the same point. Very close to the low on the daily. In fact, you could even probably move that up there, really, couldn't you? Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say whether you think we touched that or not, but so we may get a bit of a pullback here. It's hard to say. Still a ways to go in that day, so yeah. Who knows? So yeah, we've had a quadruple test there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So whether we're going to come down or not, who knows? But I think there's a good chance we might get back to the EMA before we come any lower. I'd like to at least get back to here before I think about going any shorter. That's if I do. But in all fairness, if we can get 2 legs back, because we've broke out of this and made a new low, I won't take the second entry short. I'd rather wait for the lower high. Just rules out or dramatically reduces the chance of getting trapped. Let's see if we do get back up here. The only slight issue I have is we're clearly sideways here, although I would consider this the main range. These just look like a couple of pushes up. So the fact that we've broken out of here doesn't necessarily mean, in my opinion, that we're going to, you know, it could turn into a failed breakout. So I think if we do get a break above here, I'll be inclined to go short there, because I think Chad's probably right. It does look like a leg sideways followed by another leg, and that would make sense on the daily. So I would have said I think the chance of us coming down lower than this is pretty good, I think, but I'd rather take it on a pullback if we do get a break above it, because I think taking it there just makes it a bit extra risky, because it could come up here, bounce off there, make a lovely big bearish bar and drop like a stone. So I wouldn't take something like that, in all fairness, and I would say probably take that down there, I think. I'd rather get a break above the top. Like I say, I'm not too concerned that I expect this to push back in, because I think the range was here, really. I'm not too sure whether this is played enough of a roll of ups and downs, really, in this area to call this a bigger range. It's generally going sideways, but this is giving us a different message. So I'd say, for me, we're coming lower. But I'd just prefer to take it on failed breakout, yeah. Because I think that trade, that bar there, I wouldn't be shocked if that gets stopped out and then we end up getting a bearish bar. It looks like it's happening, isn't it? And we end up getting a bearish bar. It might not. But I think anything taking a trade like that, especially when we're sideways, you're right at the bottoms anyway, and, you know, we've got a distance to the EMA. It could come back here before it goes lower. That's indeed if it does go lower. I doubt you'd have got anything out of that. Depending on where you took it. No, I mean, even if you'd have took it right at the bottom, you wouldn't have got a point out of it. It would have had to push through to there. Does look like it's trying to suck in shorts, doesn't it? It does this when it does this slow, and all of a sudden turns quick. So if you'd have got in short there, you'll probably still be in that trade. If you got in here, you're still in it. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up, takes any possible shorts, maybe some, I don't know, maybe some there, who knows. And then takes that one out, and that one out. The first one sometimes survives, but I wouldn't be shocked if that gets taken out as well. Oh no, not quite. I'll be surprised, yeah, it has now. But yeah, it does sometimes look, say, oh, follow me. If you don't take that one, oh, follow me. Maybe another one down here, all of a sudden it turns. So I'll probably be looking for a lower high here. I don't like taking this first one. That's if it does come down. It might not now. Okay, market's got other ideas. Okay, if we do get a lower high, then I'll be interested in that. Wow. Okay, so a lower high would be nice. Then I would expect that to come down some more. Very close to that bottom level on the daily. So there is the possibility he could come back in. But we've had this leg down. We've had one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. In fact, I'm just going to get an order just in case we get a quick drop here and a nice bearish bar. We've tried once. We've come back quite quickly. We're trying a second time. So that would be a second entry short. My slight issue is it does look like the EMA is starting to point upwards, so I would have to take a lower high here. Okay, so triangle line, strike, possible fail second entry short. I'd like to see that trigger. Push up, 1, 2, triple test, and then down some more. So I'd like to see something quite bullish there. Hopefully that triggers. Okay, so that is a second entry short. Might not be a bad trade, actually, to be fair. I don't like that it's slightly higher than this, but it's a small risk, I think. Yeah, tick above, tick below. You're talking a 1.25 maximum. Even if you'd have gone for 1-to-1 there, you'd have been out. So it is a second entry short. You probably expect it to come back, but I don't like the way it's... I like the way it's held here once, twice, and a bunch of times here, but it's closed above it there. And it's finished above it as well. So that would make me a little bit nervous going there. Because if there's going to be shorts coming in there, second entry short, you may consider that a lower high, but you would want that a little bit higher, but you don't know whether whether some of these are going to get trapped, whether this is going to push up. I'm still waiting for a lower high. Where's me order? There it is. Could go the other way here, see. We've bounced off this, so it could go up and trap some of them shorts. Let's see. Okay, let's trap a few longs here. So, I mean, it may go up. if we trap some longs there and then give us a lower high, I might have a go at that, because there's a failure there which never triggered. So push up, 1 bounce, 2 bounce. So let's see what happens here. What I will say is you could say that is in a range of its own, in which case we may come down to the bottoms here. So a lower high there might not be an awful trade. See how it works. There's not much room to the bottom, that's my slight issue. But I would expect to break the low, so let's have a look.
Order submitted.
Okay. Okay, it is a lower high. Let's probably get out there, I think. It is a lower high. There's probably going to be some longs trapped there.
Order filled.
Excellent. I'll expect to break this low, possibly even lower, maybe down to here. So I like that. There's going to be some longs there, no doubt. There may have been some traders who bought around there. Did you get that eval back? No, I didn't. I ummed and ahed about messaging him, but I looked at it. It did bring a little error message up, and I just think it was one of those unusual things. But what I didn't realise, and I've never done it, is I put a post yesterday and asked a few questions, and someone says to me, always have the positions tab open in Rhythmic, because what happened, it triggered in Rhythmic but didn't trigger here. Obviously this is part of Rhythmic down here, so you could see, because I had it so small, you could see the balance going down. In fact, it went up in my favour quite a bit initially, but then someone said always have this, and I noticed that first trade I had, we had two. You could see the trades here, and there was red crosses there. And when I was doing a little bit of research about closing trades in Rhythmic, Daryl Martin had a video, and he said always have the positions tab open in Rhythmic open, and he showed us how to do it. Simple, click the red cross, and it closes it down. So what I've got above my head, you can see that one down there. You can see the balance of my accounts. So I've got this above my head and that right next to it. So that I can see straight away, if there's nothing there, and this balance isn't moving and there's nothing there, it just gives me backup after backup. And if for some reason the internet goes down, I can connect this straight away to the Wi-Fi on my internet, to the mobile data on my internet, enough to close anything. So this is just something, you know, problems that you've got to sort out, and so I'm kind of glad it happened yesterday, because I'd much rather it happened on a $35 evaluation than a PA, and now even a fourth entry short worked well. Yeah, I think there's a chance. I wanted out before the bottoms, and I'm glad I came out where I did. Where did I get out? Well, exactly right at the bottom, so it was perfect enough. So what did I get there? 1.75 points, wasn't it? Is that right? 4.5. So yeah, 1.75. That's good enough for me. So it was a lower high. We had two pushes up, break out of this smaller trend. You'd expect it to come down at the bottom, I think. So what do we call that as lower high? So lower high, high. Plus 1.75 points. Excellent. Yeah, I like the way we broke back. We've made a couple of attempts to break back into this, and it's failed. And we had another attempt, and that failed, finished on its lows. I'm guessing after we've done this and made a new low from this channel, there's going to be some traders looking to go long there. So I'd say, you know, that's a possible area where there may be a few. And once we got below there, that came down pretty quickly to the bottom. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that happened. Much better to have these problems. I mean, I'd not come across that. I didn't realise that an order could trigger in rhythmic and it didn't show here because I thought the two were connected. And the fact that there was nothing here, and if you remember what it did, when it kicked it out, one of the accounts, one of the evaluations was still showing on here, and then I right-clicked it like I always do, just out of paranoia, and click cancel all. There was nothing there showing any types of orders. So, you know, I don't mind stuff like that happening because what you don't want that doing is happening when you've got a PA account, because obviously that's going to hurt a lot more, isn't it? And you know, you want your PA accounts, the emotions are going to be a lot more intense. So when things go wrong and you lose money that you think's not really your fault, that can set that, you know, those emotions going and maybe do something stupid. So I did consider leaving the one open. I've got 3 in a runner at the moment. I did consider leaving one open, but I just wanted it all out at the bottom, but that would have been nice actually. But in fact, no, it wouldn't have done. When it came back, it would have taken me out there. You are honest trader who trade Pat's system bravely. Congrats. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. But 2 quite nice trades actually. Quite clear that one was, and I think that one was as well. So 3.25 points there. To be honest with you, 3.25 points, I'd be pleased as punch if I could have that every day. So as I say, I do trade these a little aggressively, 4 contracts, but in all honesty, you've still got to lose. What's the risk there? So let's say on a bad day, $600 loss from there, you've still got to lose 4 in a row. If you're losing 4 trades in a row trading this system, something's not right, because they're quite high probability trades here. You took the lower I2 for a point. Good on you, mate. Yeah, I get the point. Yeah, it is quite low, isn't it? You're past the mid line there, so but you probably expect that. I'd expect that to come down to the bottom there. You don't want to push your luck, do you? But it was, you mentioned that earlier. Chad, good call that, mate. Look at that. Look at it. I love it when it does that. Bounce, 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 bounce. If you think these markets are random, look at that. I mean, look at that. In fact, I can probably even get that more accurate. Oh no, it is accurate. Look at that. Right on the nail. That's perfect. Right at the top there. Right at the bottom. In fact, let me have a look at that. Yeah, it's perfect. Right to the tick. Look, bounce straight up. It may come down lower, absolutely. But just the way it bounces, it does that to the tick, doesn't it? It still amazes me that. So yeah, clearly leg. Bunch of sideways stuff and then down again. So after those 2 pushes up in the lower high, I think there's a good chance this is going to come lower, certainly to the bottom. I do wonder if there's a bigger channel going there. Possibly. Yeah, actually, yeah, look at that. Touch, touch, touch. And also fitting nice here. Touch, 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 touch. Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. 0. I had it drawn from previous swing. I actually got you, but like that too. Yeah, sometimes I look for these a bit too early. And then I notice when I see people like Marco concentrates on the small stuff. And in all fairness, it's the best way to do it. I think it's useful to be aware of these levels, especially when that went up. If you were thinking about going long there, see, I think it's important to be aware, because I did that maybe 7 or 8 months ago. I took a really nice trade and it pushed up a little bit and then reversed quickly. And then I had it here. It looked lovely. It was a beautiful. It pushed up. We had 2 legs back and it was a higher low. And I thought, an absolute beauty. And I jumped all over it, and it triggered above me a couple of ticks and dropped straight down. And what I didn't realise as I zoomed out is we'd touched in a few areas. So it is important to be aware of these areas where it may turn. But sometimes I concentrate on the bigger channels a bit too much. Because we're only taking a couple of points, it doesn't matter about these bigger channels so much. It's obviously useful to know that there is a possibility that at this level that may turn, and if you'd have drawn a line from there to there when this pushed up and that turned, that would have made sense. But it is important to keep this small stuff, because this is really where it helps you read the market a bit clearer, and sometimes I tend to forget that and slip into bad habits. But it's all about fine-tuning your trade, and every day you spend the hours on these charts, you just get better and better. You probably have. You try braking with your other foot in your car. It's near damn impossible. You come to a standstill pretty quickly. You don't realise how finely tuned. I mean, I'm not sure. I think your brake's on the right in the US. Over here, obviously, we drive on the right-hand side of the car, which is the correct way. But yeah, it just goes to show how finely tuned we drive, don't we? You don't even think about it. It's all done automated, isn't it? But it's that finely tuned, and the more time we spend on here, you just get better and better. You can't help but not. It's just part and parcel of it. Anything you do in life, any job you do, you just get better at it. What time is it? I might have a short day today. I might just do a couple of hours, I think. Mind you, I'm trading on an evaluation, so I don't mind taking a few trades. If they're there. But yeah, if you could trade, I mean, look at that, $650 per account. If you can do that on a PA account, you'd make if you could trade a PA account with the same emotional connection that you do in evaluation, you'd make a fortune. Just goes to show how much of a part the psychological side plays in trading. If you could trade like a run, I suppose that's why a lot of trading with algos now, aren't they? Because obviously you remove, you may not have quite that same aspect of thinking like a human being, but you're ruling out one of the trickiest parts of trading, the emotions, by making things robotic. There's no emotions, and obviously when it comes to trading, emotions play a massive role. So I think in time, and I don't think it'd be long, in a lot of these big companies, these big edge firms, it probably is to a degree, but I think it'll all be algorithms trading. Human beings are too flawed, really, aren't they, when it comes to this type of thing? It probably is to a degree now. It's probably just monitored, isn't it, by the human connection. So look at that. I mean, look how accurate that is. Bounce, and it's gone sideways from there. It's weird how sometimes it can be absolutely tick accurate, and other times it can miss it by 5 or 6 points. I'll look at it again. It's almost like it's been electrified, isn't it? Every time it comes down, ouch, and it bounces. Trouble is, if you're in a short here and you're aware of these, this is where you're going to take your profit. So you take your profit. And I suppose, well, no one's trading it really. You'd think there would be a few people trying to buy you, wouldn't you? trying to pick that big move back up if it happens. Okay, folks, my wife's just come home from work, so I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'll leave that chart to you. Where's my little... Where's my 5-minute break thingy-majiggy? Oh, there we go. I'll just pop that on there. Quick 5 minutes. Quick cup of tea. Quick nip to the bathroom, and I'll be back in 5. Okay, I'm back. Right, let's have a look what's going on here. I'm wondering whether this is just going to continue to come down. Yeah, there's definitely a bigger channel coming down here, isn't there? No argument there. There's a bit of a channel there, actually. That's tempting. Got a leg down. One attempt to go, second attempt to go higher. Trouble is, there's a lot of bottom in there, isn't it? So I think that's a bit risky. It's reacted to this area quite a few times, so that if there is a lower height, it may trap some shorts there. And not only that, we're right at the bottom of that level on the daily, literally right on it. We've had a little break below it. So whether it's going to go down much further at the moment is hard to say. So I think we may get a little bit of a reversal, possibly. Yeah, I mean, we're right at the bottom, aren't we? Big bearish bar there, so we may get a little bit of a pullback here. So I'll be a little bit dubious about going short at the moment. I want to give it a chance to sort of maybe come back up to here and then start working down some more or whatever. 2 trades up, you don't want to do nothing stupid really, do you? I am going to finish early today. What time is it? I'm going to do about another 30 minutes, I think. I'm not going to bother coming back tonight. There's no point, really. Okay, this could reverse now, I think. I have a feeling this is going to continue on up. This measured leg is played out beautifully quite a few times, and it does almost look like a bit of a bottoming pattern there, isn't it? We hit that level on the daily, so we could have maybe a decent pullback here. Yeah, I don't think this is going to come down anymore at the moment. I think we're going to have a pullback. Yeah, if you took that, I think that's going to get taken out, and it's going to continue on higher a little. Nice to see it retest the top of this line. Okay, I think there's going to be a bit of a channel, something like that. Possibly something a bit wider. Yeah, maybe. Let's leave it at that one just for a minute. Push up, 2 legs down. That's actually a second entry long there. I think there's going to be some shorts there. I'm tempted to take that one, but because we're at this area, I'm not going to. I I'm a bit on the fence here. I like the way it's testing this, so I think that's probably going to work. But I'd rather wait for a higher low, because I do think we're going to, after this, those two measured legs and hitting that level on the daily, I think we may have a little pullback, because as it's come down here and bounced there, it's going to have a little bit of relief, I think. So, but I'm just going to sit this out because it is at this level. So, I mean, you could sort of micro adjust that. Having said that, touch is perfect. So that would be a bit of a break. Now, we may have a break and it may come down and make a new low. That's always a possibility. But I could adjust this ever so slightly. Is that triggered? There's possible failure, possible lower high. I'd like to see that trigger because I have a feeling we're going to make this channel. I'd like to see that trigger though, really. This looks like it might be sucking in some shorts. I'd like to see that break below there. But it is sitting on top of this line 3 times there, so I'd expect that to push up. And I would just love it to trigger below there. Oh. Okay, so 2 legs down, higher low up here for another leg up. That's what I think. I'm going to do it from there. That's perfect.
Order submitted.
I don't like using these buy stops because they got me into trouble last time. Try go once, try twice, possible failure. It is sitting on top of that line. No, I'm going to wait for that.
Order
I'll
cancelled.
take it on a limit order a little bit further on up if it goes. I expect it to.
Order submitted.
It's one of these situations where it could trap some shorts, tick above there and snap back. Which is why I would rather just give it a higher low and let it move. I take some of those sometimes and they've got me into trouble, so excuse me, I think I'm going to sit tighten. But we've sitting multiple times, we're struggling to get below. There's definitely going to be some shorts trapped there. Let's just see how this reacts here. Okay, let's see. Now what I'm looking for is a higher low now. just in case this does come back. Yeah, I do like the look of that, and I do think it's likely going to do that, but it is sideways as well, which just makes it a little bit more risky. So there were some longs there. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, there you go. I wouldn't be surprised if that triggered, which is why I stayed out one tick above there. Sometimes I take those trades and they work, but it's congested, which tells me it's more sideways, which is why I decided to leave that one, and rightly so, because it would have stitched me.
Order cancelled.
Because I think it's likely after this measured leg and this bottoming pattern and break above here that it may push higher. But equally it could come down and break these lows. But I also think that bearish bar there is going to get trapped. So let's just see. I mean, it's clearly congested anyway, which makes everything a little bit more risky. So what I think here is I'm just wondering whether there is going to be some type of a leg. It has pushed up, and it is holding above this line, which I think is a good sign. Now, I'm inclined to take that, but I'd want to get out before the top.
Order submitted.
Leg. We have trapped some shorts there. This may be a bit more risky. See how this finishes. No, I'm going to wait for the higher low, because if it is going to work off there, it could come a little bit further sideways before it goes up. Let's just have a look what's going on here. Okay, so touch. I mean, we've finished, worked nice here, but this time we're coming a bit further away. This time further still. This time the same. And those measured legs are played out, and this does look like it's bottoming. We had like a triple test and a strong push up. So I do wonder whether we're going to have another leg there. I think it's likely.
Order submitted.
Because I think it's worth it, and I'm just going to get out for the tops for just a quick. I like to get out a little bit earlier there, so we'll just get out
filled.
there. Okay, brilliant. I didn't want to be greedy there. I think it was going to go to the highs. I think it'll probably continue higher, so it was only about a point, I think, wasn't it? Let's have a look. 675. Oh, 3/4 of a point, is that it? Is that what it was? 3/4 of a point. I thought that was a little bit. Okay. Leg. You could call that a touch, triple test, maybe. I don't know. 3 ticks. I certainly think it was worth going to the top. I think it's going to push up. But if you go from here to here, it could come a little bit further sideways before it starts to go. But it looks like a leg, some sideways and another leg. So the signals for me are we're pushing up. Let's have a look. So we've had this leg down, we've had a break, we've had another leg, 2 measured legs, we've had a touch, 3 touches there, and we've broken above it. It may come down and break a new low, hit a new low, but the fact we've had this perfect measured legs and a bottoming pattern, I would say we're going to have a bit of a pullback. So whether we come halfway or somewhere up here, I don't know. And this push up like this, followed by this sideways, is telling me it's going to continue on up. I didn't want to hold any more there because it may come a bit further sideways until it starts pushing up this line, which means it may come down and take that out, but I don't think it will. But it looks to me like a leg and a leg. So let's just have a look at that. So we got a leg there and a leg there. Is that right? Oh, I can't see because this is a, yeah, we got a leg and a leg and then a push up. So let's take that out to here and close that in. I wasn't sure how far that was going to come there. May just be there actually, in which case it fits okay. Okay. So this one account is only $200 away, so there's no point in trading 4 contracts with that one. So which is the lead account? 57 is the lead account, so that's this one. Okay. So it's 54, the account that's only, let's do that, it's 3 contracts. Pre-allocated, let's do that one at 3 contracts, be enough. So maybe we are going to come down and make a new low. So we got a leg up, 2 legs. Yeah, it was a leg back and a leg back. and a push up new high. Ooh, look, a retest of this and maybe back higher. Wow. See if we can get a failure. There is a possible lower high. It's just not very convincing. We've broken out the bottom and pushed back in. I'm still not confident this is going to go short. Not just that, I'm going short into all that lot. In fact, if we can get a bullish bar here, we may get a failure. Our second entry long, take us down there. Trouble is, I'm not confident that this needs to come down and break this lot. Second entry long, let's see if that triggers. So ordinarily, that wouldn't be a bad trade. The trouble is, I thought we may be going longer. My only slight issue is because of this bigger channel, we may have to come down and break this lower or even attempt of it. But when it's had a good touch in like that so many times, it looks like a bottoming pattern to me, and sometimes it'll do this. It'll start to come down, and then it'll come down so far and turn, and then it'll be that there's just a bigger channel there. So I have a feeling trying to go short here, if that triggers on the failure, is a mistake, because we've got to touch. This to me looks like a bottoming pattern. The two legs have played out perfectly. For me, we've got to take back some of this. I would expect it to anyway. But if we can maybe get a bullish bar and then wait for a higher low, then I think there's a good chance we're going to push up. I'm just not massively convinced, which is why I won't take that second entry long, just in case I get caught playing my own game here, because there is a possibility of a failure. And if it does trigger that, it could come down and break these lows. I don't think it will, but it's enough to keep me out of a trade. See what happens if it triggers. Robin, uptrend played out, might go down. Excuse me, yeah. It could do either or here, really. I just have this feeling, having these two legs, these two good pushes down, this looks to me like it's bottoming. It's trying multiple times. So for me, there's going to be some strong longs in there, hence that strong movement. And I just feel we're going to have a couple of legs up at least. Now, it's just a feeling, but it's enough to keep me out of a short. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't take a long until we get a higher low either. So, I want to sort of cover both angles. There is a lower high there that's triggered. Now, you'd have probably got 2 points out there anyway. So, you'd have probably squeezed a point and a half. But another thing, it's bouncing on the top of this line multiple times. So there's a possible second entry short there, see? So I'm hoping that might trigger and then give us a failure. But for me, I think this is going to push up leg and a leg, at least to somewhere up here. And if it breaks above there, then there was a bit of a poke there. Trouble is, that would have been the better trade. But I don't know. Sometimes it does this and it gives you that. And 1 minute, I feel like I'm being sucked into ghosts. So I just got mixed feelings there. But if we can get a failure here. Yeah, I like to sort of play both sides, really. I like to say, yeah, I think it's bullish, but I don't want to rule out the fact that there is a possibility we come down. But after that bottoming pattern, a lot of the times, it doesn't necessarily come down and make a new low. But I don't want to rule that out. For me, out of experience, it's less likely to do that. But you just never know. And look how that's reacted now. See, it's broken that short, but look how it snapped back, not quick. So what I'd be interested in if that triggers short, and preferably no lower than that line. Okay, so far so good. That'd be nice to see that trigger. Then you got the failure then. But I don't know. It's more than going up. It's going up and down. It's going sideways. So I'm still a bit. For me personally, I think we're going to have another leg up. So I'm thinking erring on the side of up. But obviously I'm being cautious because what it is more than anything is just congested at the moment. So it just could make anyone's life a misery. And when it does go sideways, as we all know by now, it does make any trade, long or short, that little bit more riskier. Obviously sideways, as we know, is a little bit, it's a little bit of uncertainty. So we don't move these markets, the big boys do. So if they're uncertain, it really could go either way. But for me, look how that's holding there. Touch. It's working, isn't it? We've had a leg back, we've pushed up, we've come back again, we've pushed up, we've come back again, and we seem to be holding. So we'll see. Trouble is, I've gone into trades like this before, and it's taught me a lesson. So there's see, that I'd say was a pretty good place to go long, but you just don't know, do you? If you got in that and that started doing that, you just don't know, do you? So sometimes I think these are, at the end of the day, going long here into these highs, regardless of whether I think it's long. There's a lot of support there. There's a lot of resistance there, so you just don't know. You haven't got much room to the tops there. I mean, you wouldn't even get half a point out of that. For me, it's just too risky. I want to see it start to move a bit further. So I want to see it get out of this, really. So if you recount this, really, that's just your higher low. I'd like to see a failure. For all intents and purposes, it does look like it's going, doesn't it? But sometimes it'll do that. It'll sucker a load of longs in, and all of a sudden, wham, it'll drop. So I want to wait for it to start to work before I jump on. especially where that snapped back quickly and came right back to the bottom. Okay, so there's a higher low there. See if we can get a failure, second entry long failure. That will be a better option then. All the signals are there. And hopefully, see, it may trap some shorts in here. Shorts are thinking we're coming down. See, there's still a lot of traders going to be thinking we're coming down to break the new lows. I don't think we are. But we could. So it'd be nice to see that trigger and then turn. It could just come tumbling down, which is why I want to see some movement in that direction really before I go in. I've learned over the last few years, I've become a little bit wiser. Yeah, it's given me those signals, but it's still ultimately congested. But I would like to see that. If we can see that trigger, that's interesting. So new low, so that will be the failure there, yeah. So if that ended up bullish, I think that would be a better option because it's clearly running this line. That's if it does. We've got a new low. Let's recount this one. There's a first entry. This is the failure. Trap some shorts. Let's just get an order ready.
Order submitted.
I mean, it could come down and make everyone's day miserable here.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, so if you'd have got in there, see, you'd have jumped the gun. I've learnt to leave these alone and wait. Lots of times I'd have got in there. Lots of times, and then what happens, it triggers you, comes down, stops you out, and then ends up probably going in the same place. So I've learned just to wait that little bit long, and then sometimes you get a real perler. Sometimes you get in, and it just messes you. I think that's a better option, personally. I'd have preferred it to finish a little bit better, but...
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
I'm still just waiting.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
Okay, there's a failure. So this may come down after all. So if you'd have got stuck into there... it's taken a bit longer than I thought, actually. I thought when it started to work, it would go. So let's see now if we're going to trap some short. There's going to be multiple traps here, that's what I will say. There'll be shorts in there. Longs probably in there. Really could go either way. I'm getting rid of that for the minute now. Longs trap there. Shorts trap there. Shorts trap there. Probably still some longs after we've had a leg down there. Yeah, it's so tempting, isn't it, to get into here, but you just got to let it go. It really could go either way. 1 minute it looks bullish, next minute it looks bearish. I still think it's more likely to go up. It does look like just a bit of a bull flag, doesn't it? That type of thing. Push up, sideways, push up. But you never quite know. It doesn't always work that way. So there's a failure there which is triggered. So second entry long which is triggered. Still holding. There's a failure which is triggered. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very. Do you know what I mean? The lesser experienced me would have been in here and would have probably been trapped twice. And the safest thing to do when you see that, especially in such a small range, is just to let it play out, stay out of it. Yeah, I mean it's 2.5 points from top to bottom. You just can't take anything in there really. I mean, if you scalp for 2 ticks, then I'd say that's your perfect place. But it's just too dangerous. See, 1 minute it did look like it was pushing up lovely. So you got traders thinking, yeah, fine, here we go, nice failure, let's get in on there, and what happens? Comes straight down, stops you out. Second entry long, okay, this is a second time triggered, coming down, so it's just, and I like the fact that I can identify these areas where there are traps, and it does make you a better trader over time, doesn't it? And the best way to learn, I found, is just to end up getting trapped. It used to frustrate the hell out of me getting trapped that I couldn't see it coming. Now I'm a lot more aware of it. And you do feel like you're actually starting to get somewhere. So let's see if it takes out that second entry long there. I mean, it was a doji, but it was still quite bullish. But yeah, see if you took that, you shafted. The only one that really worked there is the second entry long. That one you'd have got your points. The lower high, you'd have got some, but you don't really want to be going short there, do you? But there's a failure which is triggered. So let's see what happens. It's just not worth taking that failure, is it really? I mean, you got to, well, you'd have got a point at most, but you don't really want to be going short into that or long into that, really, do you? But there'd have been a time where I'd have taken that, and probably even that as well. And it is just down to patience, isn't it? I mean, when you start trading, you're so eager to take trades. It's awful to sit through this, but the longer you do it, it actually doesn't bother me now. I can sit through, what is it? How long have we got now? 2 hours. I'm quite calm. It doesn't worry me anymore. I used to hate not taking a trade. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Okay, new high, leg back. Yeah, it could do either or here. I can't see it coming down after this bottoming pattern. I can't see it coming down any lower. I think it'll break out of here and push up, personally. Let's see. And part of the reason I'm saying that is because of this the daily, I really can't see it coming down much more. It's just testing this line for me. But I could be wrong the way that's coming down. Excuse me. I can't see that. I can't see. I'd put money on that not coming down any lower. It just doesn't look like it's going to come down. Especially after this. Whenever you see this, this is just okay. It's almost final this before it pushes up. Now, we tested this line multiple times, didn't we? And it looks we may be testing it again. Having said that, there is a possibility of a bigger range there. I don't think it is at the moment. I think this is where it's going to turn and push up, personally. Yeah, I'd say this is an area that's, it looks like it's bouncing it, and you can see it's done it multiple times, but I could be wrong. But that's just part of learning to read these markets, isn't it? After a while, you get a feel for them. You get used to seeing certain patterns that tend to work. I wouldn't take this personally. I'd be more inclined to take a high low, but I mean, most breakouts fail, don't they? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we're sort of bouncing off that line again, aren't we? Bounce, pull back a bit, bounce again. Do you know what? I'm going to knock it on the head, folks, actually. I want to go down and have my dinner. I'm hungry. 3 trades. Short one there. Probably should have stayed out of that, but it did look like 2 legs. It made a point and a bit. That's about it. But that's just one of the ones you take and you just think, why? But there you go. So nice trade there, lower high. So we got this leg down. We had 2 pushes up, lower high. Nice trade that, I think. And that one I think I liked as well. Certainly back up to towards the tops anyway. It's a triple test. Didn't go as far as I thought it might, but it certainly made a couple of points. What did it go up to? It's probably lower than that. Yes, I mean, I got out for, what did I get? 1.5. I didn't want to be greedy there. I wanted to get out before this sort of area here, but it is a triple test. But you weren't to know it was going to, come down anymore. But it's certainly enough, and I think Mac will mark that as well. It's certainly plenty enough for a couple of points anyway, or whatever it was. Yeah, maybe just rangy. I don't know. I'm not sure. So that's it for me. When are we day 2 on these? Yeah, day 2 on these. So we've got another 5 days on these. So one of them's 1 trade away. The other one's about 3, 4, 3, something like that. So there's no point in rushing them. I've got some nice scores on the board today, so that's good enough for me. Not a bad day, actually. We've had some awkward days lately, but at least this thing was moving anyway. This was quite clear. Leg down, bottoming out here, couple of attempts up, lower high, below the EMA. And same with that triple test. That one, I probably should have stayed out of that, but it did what I expected it to do, come up to the tops. But it's just not worth trading there, really. It's just too risky. But there is 2 legs, and we are bouncing off here, so I'd certainly expect it to get to the tops, but just for 3 ticks, it's just not worth the risk, in all fairness. But it's just one of those impulsive trades we do sometimes, that hopefully the more experience you get, you tend to filter that crap out and leave it away. But by the time it started going a bit sideways, I knew what was going on. So where's it going from here, down, up? Who knows? I'm still slightly bullish, I think. I think we're certainly going to have a bit of a pullback anyway, so, but there we go. So that's me done for the day, so I hope you got some green. I'm guessing you probably have. There's certainly a few trades around anyway, but a better day all in all today, so hopefully we got better days to come. So I'm going to save my chart, and I will be back. Yeah, you take it easy, Robin. I'll be back here same time. What's date tomorrow? Is it Thursday? Yeah, it is Thursday. Wow, it doesn't seem 5 minutes since Christmas, and we're at the 4th tomorrow. It just goes so quick, doesn't it? So there you go. So that's it for me today. I appreciate all your comments. I hope you've had some green. So have a great evening. Stay safe, and I will see you all same time tomorrow. Bye for now.